How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined by Mega Rule 31. Mega, how did you do today at Watkins Glen for the Truck and Xfinity Series?
I played three lineups. I had like two cash kind of split and one GPP and truck in the same. Just because there's so many options and so many like high priced guys, I didn't really know where I was going to go. I wanted some exposure, and every single lineup I had a dude like drop an engine or like it was frustrating. So I somehow luck boxed it. I always play the multipliers. I love the multipliers where you pay like it's a little harder with Xfinity. I love the Cup one because the Cup one, and it's a giant field. You pay like $1, it's a 20 max. So you put $20 in. And if you end up, I think, in like the top 10%, which usually your cash lineups, if they're strong enough, like I get up there, you win $200 for $20. Xfinity and truck, it's a little bit different. They have one that's like a $5 one that's like, so it's a 10x, so you get like 50, and there's a $10 one so you can get 100. Well, I hit one of the $50 ones, so that pretty much covered everything that I had there. So I kind of, and with some of the other double ups, kind of broke even there. Xfinity, I didn't get as lucky. I think I lost about $15. So overall, made a little bit of money today, but I just looked at these lineups and all the research and stuff you put into it, and it looked like it had so much potential. But that's the thing with DFS, like it's bankroll management. It's live to play another day. So when you have days that don't go as well as planned, you're set up for success to continue on the grind.
Yeah, absolutely. The perfect example of that is playing the same amount. I played the same amount in trucks as I did in Xfinity. Kept my bankroll the exact, like you said, right where you want to play it. Don't go overextend yourself, even if you do have a good feel for the slate. And trucks was one of the horrible, like worst starts I've ever seen in my lineups. I think we had Will Rogers go down with engine failure. We had Kaz Grala catching, early contact on their first start of the race.
And Finger lost his transmission.
And Finger was stuck in second gear. It was just one of the worst starts I could see imaginable. But, I had Ty Gibbs with Allmendinger paired with, I believe it was Erik Jones in one of the 50 in those multipliers that you were talking about, and won $50 from that, and had that in the $8.
Erik Jones ending up in the wall.
Maybe it wasn't Erik Jones. I can't remember who my third guy was. I remember checking throughout, the day today, and that lineup, the lineup I'm talking about, was really doing well. So that's where I made my money back.
Did you watch the whole Xfinity race?
I did not have a chance to. I watched most of the truck.
There was this point where, like, out of nowhere, towards the end, I think there was like 5 laps left, Kyle Weatherman like pulls his car over to the, I didn't even find out what happened. I'm sure somebody will put in the comments of the video and explain to us. And that's, we love you guys when you fill in the blanks for us. But he hops out of his car like there's a beehive in it or something. Like, he pulls over to the side of the road, he hops out of his car, he hops the fence and runs away. There's no smoke or anything. It was like there's like a bee in his car or a mouse or something. And he just ran out of there.
Jumped over the wall.
You gotta look that one
I'll have to find out. He's got a Twitter account, and he's pretty vocal on Twitter, so I'm gonna have to check that out, see what he said, give us an explanation.
So he got a DNF, but we have no idea why.
Well, hey, maybe it was a bee or one of them spiders, who knows. So looking forward to finding out why that is. But let's get into it. We have the Go Bowling at the Glen at Watkins Glen International. 90 laps for the Cup Series tomorrow. That race is at 3:00, so we have some time here to listen to these picks that we're about to give to you guys, break down our field that we have. It looks pretty straightforward, right? Looking into this, we got like this Team Penske stack here, 1, 2, 3. Not the best road course guys. I think they're coming off of, a really solid New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
yeah, and it kind of sets them up for some bad success here at one of probably their weaker tracks. I mean, I know Keselowski's won this in the past, and Joey's not a terrible road course racer, but I just don't think Penske when I think about road courses. So
No,
I might be out on all three of these drivers tomorrow.
yeah, like I think Logano is like the only one out of them, just like in the package that would probably do the best. But yeah, just looking at these top three, I'm really not interested. So, and again, like, but the one thing that we have to kind of look at, and we talked about it a little bit in the last two videos when we broke it down, Austin Hill got out there and we thought, well, there's no way. He hung around like first, second, and third for most of the race. The same thing with, like, was it Gillian who started second?
Yeah, Gillian.
Yeah,
half the race he was always in the top three,
right up there. And the same thing with, like, Cindric and Haley was on the pole, wasn't he? For
no, it was oh shoot, now why can't I remember that?
But anyway, he would have been fine if he didn't have, like, get some contact and stuff. But it seems like this is a faster road course. This is a super technical road course, and unless you tie Gibbs, it's very hard to pass here. So like I do, and we did see situations with place differential where you had guys starting at the back that were complete studs that did work their way up and do very well. This is the Cup Series. We don't have those riggers here. These guys are all on pretty much level playing field. There's better equipment here, so you're not going to see like all the DNFs from, yes, a team like Spire or somebody could like break a gear or something like that don't have, but the range of outcomes that could happen to any car. But what I'm saying here is, I think you can't completely write some of these guys off at the top, because they could go almost the first stage or so without having to pit if there's not a lot of cautions and remain in the top. But the only reason that I don't think that's going to happen is because the guy that's starting fourth.
So I think Logano, great analysis there on why we should be considering, I think Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski's days on road courses are probably gone. And Blaney, he does have some roots here in Ohio. There is mid-Ohio, but not starting too high for me, and the price tag just a little too far out of my reach. So Logano, my only interest here. Next up, we have Kyle Larson starting fourth. This is probably the guy you would think, besides Logano, to get out to that early lead. He had dominated, I believe it was Sonoma, 10-2, one of the best drivers on the circuit. What more can you say about Kyle Larson other than if he's in the field and he's healthy and he's racing well, you should play him? I mean, doesn't matter where he starts.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter the format, wash, rinse, repeat. I think that he can easily get out ahead of these other Penske cars. I mean, like you said, Keselowski's probably done. I think he's had a couple top 10 finishes, but it's been a while there. It's but again, like, they haven't been there since 2019, and a lot has changed. So it's really hard to even look back at the data. So I think, look, Larson, just the form he's in, and the Hendricks program that they've put together, and his success at just dominating Sonoma, and he was there with Road America, and he got taken out by friendly fire, if I remember correctly. I think it was Bowman. That was it Bowman or Byron? I think it was Bowman that wrecked him.
I think it was Bowman, But like you said, Hendricks program and Kyle Larson, the way he's driving this year, it should be a no-brainer. Kevin Harvick starting fifth, 8,500, not a bad price tag for Kevin Harvick, but road courses I think are a little out of his reach.
It's the DK dare. I need to coin that phrase, the DK dare. It's like where they price somebody it's just like so tempting. You're like, there's Kevin Harvick and he's only 8,500. I gotta push the button, but gotta like hold up.
Starting way too far ahead for my liking. The DQ dare. We are coining that phrase. That's good. Next up, we have Denny Hamlin. I think this is going to be a really popular option tomorrow. Racing. Look, he's got to win to feel safe. I know he's in on points no matter what, but somebody random could win this race. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, and the leash can get shorter.
The first road course was run by, was it Cole Custer that won?
Christopher Bell won at Daytona Road Course. Yeah. Well, I mean, just that kind of random opportunity is there. Like, let's say Tyler Reddick wins this race tomorrow, or like a Ross Chastain.
Right.
Those guys get that automatic bid with that win, and it puts someone like Denny Hamlin on notice to be on the bubble, and you would never expect it because he just doesn't have that win this year. So I think his team realizes that, and I think they're trying to get some good momentum heading into the playoffs. I will have Denny Hamlin on my rosters tomorrow at 9,400. That price tag, really great. So might be probably the highest owned driver of mine tomorrow. Your thoughts?
I wouldn't go that far.
I pushed my chips into the middle here.
Yeah, I like him. And I do think he'll have ownership at the price, but I think we're talking like top 10, top 5 kind of finish where he starts. I think there's so many other guys that are better technically at road courses that will get up there. They just haven't nailed the setup this year. So I don't think. I like that he's Gibbs. I like that, Ty pretty much dominated in the Gibbs cars. Other Gibbs cars did good at Xfinity. So they have data there. He has experience on the track, which I would say over half the field does not, because it's been 2 years and you've cycled like so many people through. Yeah. And there's no practice or anything. And I don't think any of these guys are the guys that ran in ARCA, which, I mean, that's a completely different situation. I'm sure it helps the truck drivers get familiar with it, but it's a completely different feel. So I don't think it really applies as much for Cup. But yeah, I like him. I don't love him.
Okay. Next up, we have Christopher Bell, as we had mentioned, winner of the Daytona Road Course, 8,800. A little expensive, but I think it's worth the play. Coming in with good form. I like Gibbs tomorrow, and I'm hitching my horse to that wagon.
I think he just starts a little bit too high here. Like if he was
perfect GPP play.
Yeah. Because would it surprise me if he stays in the top 5 and does really well? No. Would it surprise me if he falls down and finishes like 17th? No. So I really don't have a read on him. So that's why I'd say GPP play.
Yep. Next up, we have Erik Amarola. This guy's been in a lot of good form, coming off of a win. 6,800, super cheap. Do you believe in Erik, or is this going back to the wagons here?
It's another DK dare.
Yeah.
This isn't his wheelhouse. He's only up here.
He's hot right now, but
like recent wins. So his form has gotten better than it was in the early season, and he's already won. So he doesn't have anything to prove here, unless, he wants to try to get more points so it's going to help him try to maybe advance to the second round of the playoffs. So you got to look at it that way. But Stewart Haas Racing, road courses, Erik Amarola, it's just not the recipe that I'm looking for.
I could see Amarola being the guy that's in it for the first stage. Get first stage points, stay in that top 10, get them points, and then if you have to, take it easy. Just circle laps and finish the race. Because he hasn't finished many races.
I know, but will he be physically able to do it? I just don't think the recipe's there. It's like putting chocolate syrup on a taco. I just can't.
Yeah.
Nice. It just doesn't go together well.
Perfect price tag. I just don't think, like you said, the execution is going to be there. Martin Truex Jr. starting 9th. 10-4, hefty price tag, but certainly a driver I'm going to roster tomorrow. They're following along with the Gibbs Racing team wagon that I am following. Don't mind him on road courses either. So I think our stance here is going to be similar.
I like him. my daughter's favorite driver, but that has no influence on me playing him in DFS. Can't go that way. But here's the thing, like with him, like he had a streak where he was like very dominant. It's like, wow, he's back, and like he could be this. I think it was right before Larson like started winning all those races earlier on in the season. It seemed like Truex was like, going to run away with this thing, but he seems on road courses to have a lot of bad luck, like to get run into, to have pit penalties too fast. Like, wasn't it the Daytona road course last year where he had like back to back, like he ended up getting shuffled to the, I think he failed tack, maybe not, but it was like he was in the back and he worked so hard to get all the way up, and he was like in the top 5, and then he pitted and he was too fast on pit road, so then they sent him all the way to the back, so he works his way all the way back up again, and then he has another like speeding penalty like leaving pit road, so he's all the way to the back. He's like choosing ladders.
Yeah.
And we've seen this a lot with Truex recently. Now we got to throw out the submarine race where he got like completely, undercut by Cole Custer there in the rain, but
sure. I don't know. What it is for me is I'm going with Joe Gibbs Racing because they've had 2 weeks to prepare, and we know as well as anything that in this sport, when you give Joe Gibbs enough time, even if they don't have practice, figuring out how to set up their cars, they usually come to the track. Like it's this thing with Gibbs. Like when all their cars come to the track and they're ready, they're gonna dominate. And I'm pushing my chips into that basket. They had enough time off to dial themselves in for this race and get ready for the upcoming home stretch. More so than maybe, and I like Hendrick too. And it's just you can only play so many guys at the top. I think I'm going to just team stack a little bit here, go with Hendricks and Gibbs. So pushing that into the next segment here, we have Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott rounding out the 10th and 11th spot. I think we know Bowman is like a GPP, play, and that's it. And I think his starting position and price tag are kind of pushing me into that same stretch. And Chase Elliott, 10-6, really expensive, but his road course pedigree speaks for itself. One of the best road course racers in the sport. I expect him to be really popular, really chalky. You get in a little place differential. So going to be in on both of these drivers, probably more Chase Elliott than Bowman. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. I pay the 200 more over Truex. Like Truex, I think for me, it's going to be more GPP just because going back to Sonoma, he just didn't look impressive there, and it's dominant. Elliott and Larson just look so much stronger. Bowman, like we always say, 10 great place differential, great price. If he wins this race, is it going to surprise us? No. If he ends up, he's probably going to end up in the top 15. I don't see him falling too far back. I mean, sure. I wouldn't necessarily consider him an above average road course driver, but then again, I wouldn't consider him like horrible here either. So
sure. Yeah, he could finish inside the top 10 and be a part of some winning lineups, but I don't think he'd be in the winning lineup unless he won or finished in the top 3. Chase Elliott, make sure you play him tomorrow. Next up, we have Ross Chastain starting 12th, 8,100. I don't mind Chastain. He's a good driver, and it's hard for him to hit the wall here, but he might find a way. He's been really good lately, and I think I'm going to keep playing him.
Yeah, he raced here in Xfinity last time and crashed pretty early. Don't think it was. Yeah, but it wasn't his fault. I think Allmendinger, Allgaier, or Grayson, or somebody like. I think Ross is really aggressive at driving, and he'll give you a few seconds, a few chances to move. But again, it's hard to pass. And if not, he will like kind of just push you out of the way. So I think he literally rubbed somebody the wrong way. And if I recall correctly, they just kind of dumped him. So
yeah, I get it. Yeah, that happens to him often.
So, but he seems to have like leveled out here. The price is decent. I think you could play him in cash. Chip Ganassi. And he got a huge boost here because he's going to be in the 1 car next year.
Yeah,
he's secured his future, and I think
Trackhouse.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think they're going to be, they want to end this season strong to get momentum into next one. So you'll probably see some of the resources coming from Kurt Busch and being fed into Chastain to maybe see how well he can do. Although Busch did win, so he's definitely locked into the playoffs.
Yeah, next up we have Tyler Reddick and Matt DiBenedetto. 8K for Tyler Reddick and 7,600 for Matt DiBenedetto. I think Reddick is okay. I struggle with these two. I'm kind of lost here in this no man's land of space, but I'm going to need to play some guys of value. And these two guys, 8K and below, are, they might be a decent play. I just hope they can finish where they start or creep inside the top 10. Do you have a lean on these two drivers?
Well, Reddick's on the bubble with his teammate Austin Dillon. Those are the guys right on the bubble of the playoffs. Now, granted, this isn't like Xfinity and Truck where you have like the playoffs are coming right up. They still have 4 more races, so there's a lot of things that can happen and transpire here. Matt DiBenedetto, like he's odd man out, doesn't have a ride next year, so he. Is he going to show out to try to get an audition? Like you and I talked in the other video, he might end up in so what's going to happen? Is he going to be like Erik Jones next year and end up in like inferior equipment after, leaving a team just to stay up in Cup? Or is he going to like John Hunter Nemechek it and like go down into like and I know Nemechek is like much younger and less experienced than DiBenedetto is maybe he drops down to Xfinity or something and like tries to like build his resume to come back up to get into like a major Cup program. So I think I like him a little bit better. Tyler Reddick, when he raced here in Xfinity, really struggled with some of the technicality of these turns. Just couldn't nail if it was the chicane or the bus stop or one of those ones multiple times in practice. Had issues spinning out, just couldn't nail it, and really hasn't seen the track since then. So again, he's got more experience, so he might be better. He's trying to get in the playoffs, but starting too high here, I'd rather play other drivers. I'd rather play, there's another guy who's $8,300 more that's starting further on down that I think actually has an outside shot to win this race. I'd rather play over him.
All right, we will get to him later on. Good analysis on Reddick and DiBenedetto. That helped me solidify my stance. Next up, we have William Byron at 9,800. A guy that was racing really well, finishing inside most of the top fives, but has cooled off a little bit. So maybe the break came at the right time for William Byron. Does he get back into the top 10, starting 15th? And do you like the price tag?
It's a little bit high, but I do like the fact that he's starting 15th. I think he definitely has top 10 upside here. His crew chief is a very, very good crew chief and setting up cars for different situations, like almost a wizard, like probably one of the top guys in NASCAR. So very, very talented in there. So I think he'll have Byron ready. Byron's one of the iRacers, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably like visually like practice like on this track, not with the car. So I definitely like him here. I think I see good things for him. And, if you compare the price of him at 98 and Denny Hamlin at 94, for $400 more, I think, with the place differential upside potential, I could see him getting anywhere probably around 45 DK points, and which would almost be 4.5x, I believe. So yeah, I think he's a good play if you can work him in. And he might be a smart play too, because there's 5 10K guys. And I think a lot of people are going to be gravitating to them. 2 of them, the Busches, are in 10Ks and they'll be gravitating to them for place differential. And then the other ones are the Hendricks cars and Truex, who are favorites to win this. But if you play Byron here at 9.8, and maybe that differentiate your lineup just enough that if with his place differential, say, one of these other guys struggle like Truex or Chase Elliott or Larson, mechanical problems, something like that, but you pivoted off and you played Byron, or you play Byron, and these other guys, they have to play like somebody like an Anthony Alfredo, and it gets you up to somebody that's like a better play than like a complete punt. It could make a huge difference in your lineup. So I love it. I think it's very intriguing.
All righty. So William Byron probably going to be inside our lineups. Next up, we have Austin Dillon, 6,100. Not your typical road course racer. How did he finish today? And is the price tag low enough? That's no surprise.
I don't know if he wrecked, but I know he didn't finish the race. Like he finished. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no surprise with Austin Dillon. That's why he's priced.
It's just not his his wheelhouse here, and the pricing is definitely appropriate for it. I think his ownership will be very high. People will look at Austin Dillon and see 61 and be like, hey, didn't he run the Xfinity? So at least he's seen the course. And I think that's a trap there too. He is on the playoff bubble with Tyler Reddick, but then again, this really isn't either one of their track styles. So I think if both of them kind of like, hey, let's just go out there and do what we can, and then next time, we've got 3 more races to kind of figure out who's going to make the playoffs.
Right. Okay. Next up, we have Kurt Busch, guy who's coming on late since the news that Chip Ganassi would sell their team to Trackhouse Motorsports. So Kurt Busch taking it personal. I think he's kind of auditioning for 2 more years of his career, and he's hoping that he can get someone to sign him on for the end of that. 10K is pretty pricey, but I think this is a strong play. Really good road course racer, typically does well on these traditional road course tracks. I will be invested in Kurt Busch for probably the 3rd time on this on this season. So if I'm in on Kurt Busch, that means you definitely have to be in on Kurt Busch.
Yeah, definitely. Like we say, like Elliott's like the king recently with all these wins, but Kurt Busch like was his father pretty much, because before there was Chase Elliott, it was Kurt Busch, just with the consistency, not necessarily the win, but just top 10 after top 10 after top 10. So I see at least 7 to 10 place differential points, and maybe even with pit strategy and stuff could get out there and lead at some point too. So, but I think he's got a very, very, very remote chance of actually winning this, but I think definitely it's going to be moving forward more than moving backwards.
Yeah, place differential probably going to be helpful. You could make the case that he's too expensive in case he doesn't finish too high. And I understand that sentiment, so I might be a little lower on exposure, but definitely going to have exposure to him. Next up, we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Cole Custer starting 18th and 19th. I don't mind these 2 plays. I think I value them a little bit more than I do Reddick and DiBenedetto. It's the price tag that's really sells me on these 2, and that's 63 and 65. And you're going to have value to play some of these big studs. And we're not going to see a lot of it in the very back end of the field like we did in the Xfinity and trucks. So I don't mind Ricky and Cole. Maybe not my first choices, but I like the price tag enough to play a little bit of exposure on these 2.
Cole Custer, definitely. Ricky, not good at road courses. Cole Custer has been in Xfinity, so I would take Cole over Ricky.
Okay. Yeah.
Even in cash, I think at that price where he's starting, I think it's a solid play.
Yeah, I agree. Ricky, definitely more GPP. Good call. All right. So we've come to the decision of the slate, and that is Kyle Busch at 10-9. Expensive, but this is one of the best road course racers on the planet, next to his brother and Chase Elliott. I expect to be the chalkiest of chalk tomorrow. What is your stance on Kyle Busch?
Still a GPP. He has been better recently with his form, but he also has been snake bitten on road courses, and it wouldn't surprise me if 2 out of 3 Gibbs cars end up failing tech inspection. They always do, and have to start from the back, which
that would throw a wrinkle into my plans tomorrow.
Yeah, which I mean, it would be harder to get back up there. So that's everybody, please make sure that if you set your lineups and you think everything's okay, make sure that you check out like Twitter or some reliable source to see that tech has been done, even the NASCAR.com page, because if these guys move to the back, they still get scored from where they are. And with how hard it is to move up and the not so good drivers really being at the end of this race, it could really cause a lot of issues for them to try to get through them back up to the top. So that's my biggest concern there. I like him. He's always the first guy I put in my GPPs. I have played him in cash a couple times recently, but this is not the situation.
Okay, I agree. I think the price tag too expensive for cash. Moving on here, we have two guys in this 7K range, Daniel Suarez, 7,500, and Erik Jones at 7K. I'm not a big Richard Petty Motorsports guy. I am big on Suarez, so I'll probably be more Suarez than Erik Jones. And I think that's going to probably put me out on Reddick and DiBenedetto. The more we climb through this starting grid, the more I see some value opening up, and I like these two. But I'm not a big Erik Jones guy, but if you want to elaborate on that, I know everyone knows I'm going to be playing Daniel Suarez. I always do every week.
And I'm the exact opposite for you. I get Suarez. I have him marked as cash right now. I do think he's a little bit expensive. I'd rather him be like 6,500. Trackhouse, they have had some issues with the cars breaking down, but with the whole Chip Ganassi thing, they are supposedly getting better resources and better cars and better parts and everything. So they're definitely on the upside there. Erik Jones, I really like. I'm going to be playing him in cash. He's only 7K, and he did really well in Xfinity until he got wrecked. So it wasn't his issue. It wasn't his fault that he got turned into the wall pretty hard. But he is a really good road course driver starting in the 20s, and I think that he's got he probably finish up in the top 15. So in price wise, he fits nicely into your lineup.
Yeah, I like Erik Jones just a little bit. He's not my favorite. Next up, we have Ryan Preece and Chris Buescher. I expect Ryan Preece to be pretty chalky tomorrow with that $5,500 price tag. Pretty decent driver. Both of these guys have had some good form this year. I like that Chris Buescher's price tag has gone down. I don't mind him on any track. I think he's really consistent. He shows up week in, week out. What are your thoughts on these two?
Brian Preece, I think it would be super chalky. I don't think I'm going to play him. Maybe in GPP if he fits to try to get some of the higher guys. But the problem is like he breaks down too much recently. He has had a lot of DNFs. So yeah. I just don't trust the equipment. Buescher, on the other hand, like 78 is just too high. Like the guy right below him, like Michael McDowell, let's throw him into the same conversation here. He is really good road course driver. He's starting 25th. This is the sweet spot for him. I would rather save the $600 and take Michael McDowell. I really like here over either one of those two. You froze, TK.
Oh, sorry. I think you kind of broke up a little. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think you kind of broke up a little bit there. Our connection's getting a little choppy. But yeah, I think your analysis is right on Preece. He has a little bit of tech issues and stuff with his car from time to time. But I think that price tag's pretty good at 5,500. Chris Buescher, like I said, I like him. McDowell, yeah, 7,200. I have him circled as one of the top plays tomorrow in value. What are your thoughts on Bubba Wallace at 6,600?
I think if he fits in your lineup, he's fine. He's not great at road courses. He's actually caused a lot of chaos. The last couple races at Watkins Glen, he has gotten into wrecks with people. He almost you would think his last name was Stenhouse. It was that bad. So, but
yeah, I'm not much of a Bubba fan.
Yeah, I think Bubba is a necessity, not a commodity. So yeah. I think you get to your lineup and you're just like, okay, I need a guy, and maybe you take Cole Custer over him, but if you already have Custer in your lineup and it comes down to him or Stenhouse, I'm obviously going to take the guy that has more place differential opportunity at 66.
I can see that.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going with that.
Okay. Next up, we probably have another prime play for you. Talk about your main man, Chase Briscoe.
He has had a lot of success in road courses in Xfinity. I love starting 27th here. I think he can get from 30 to 35 DK points here. 8,300 is a little steep, but I think that he's actually a dark horse that could potentially like win this race if he gets the right. And we talked about like the random guy to win this race and make it to the playoffs. This is the recipe. This is the guy where if they get the right strategy, he's in a Stewart-Haas car, so it's not, like he's like Aspire or Front Row or Rick Ware car. This is a real team, a driver who has grown so much this year, who has had experience, who we found out was not suspended in the ARCA race. His suspension broke, but he did race in that race and it seemed like he was doing decent there. So he's seen, this course recently with that also in the race on Friday. So I really like him here. A little bit expensive, which I think is going to scare people off of him, but I think, he's going to be in my cash lineup.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe we were making fun of this guy early on in the season with how bad he was performing, but he's really turned it on lately. Maybe that 2-week break was coming at the wrong time. Hopefully he gets off into some clean space here at the back of the pack and he can find his way forward. I think that makes for a really good value play with the place differential and play at 27. Next up, we have Ryan Newman and Corey LaJoie finishing out the 20s here, 28 and 29. Newman just looks old and off, and people are getting burned by this guy. I think his ownership's going to start taking a low dip because of how much he's been burning guys. I mean, perfect spots too, starting in the 30s and just not getting the place differential people are asking for. 7,300 is going to be too expensive for my liking, but I don't think I'm going to rule him out because I think people are going to not play him. And I think he's a decent road course driver. So I'll have a little bit of exposure.
Yeah, same. He's experienced. That's what we'll give him. He's hard to pass and this place is hard to pass. So can he finish in the top 30? Probably, but just looking below him, I think we can end the show right here because there's really... I
have a way to end it. Go ahead and finish with Newman.
I was gonna say, like with Newman and maybe Chase Briscoe is watching our videos because we were dogging him and he has improved. So,
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go from 29th to 37th here with the small teams. We have Corey LaJoie and Justin Haley at Spire. I don't mind both of them. I don't think they do anything more than start, in their respective positions and finish inside maybe the top 25. That's, from 25 to 29 is all I would expect. But at that price tag sub 6K, I can understand their play and, that helps you fit some of those studs. I will be out on Alfredo, out on Smithley, out on Tilly, and maybe a little bit of Balicki. I'm not a Quinn Huff guy. Davidson I'm in on, and Emerson out. So go ahead and do the same on in or out from 29 to 37.
LaJoie seems to have way too much ownership. He's like
it's true.
A cult favorite.
He is turning into that after call.
The Spire car is starting to get some tech and support from Cully, so he is okay. Alfredo, no. Smithley, no. Tilly is a road course racer. He actually did race in Cup before in a road course, but I think you're really punting there. Blicky is second career is teaching people how to drive road courses, but like we said on the other video, I know a lot of marriage counselors who are divorced, so it doesn't always work. Sometimes your advice is great to be given, but can never be followed by yourself. Huff, no. Davidson, I think he's a good road course driver. If the equipment holds up and other people have problems, then he's not going to lose you any points. So, and then Emerson is also a road course driver, but he's in Davidson's normal car, which is much worse than the 51, which Davidson is in. So there's a little bit of an upgrade there.
Okay, guys, Mega, thank you for breaking this down with me this evening. We were looking forward to the Cup Series being back here at Watkins Glen. As you guys know, you can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is MegaRuler31. Please like and comment below. Find us in the Discord at FSI_DFS. And, good luck to your lineups tomorrow, your evening, and we will talk again next week I'm not sure, where are we next week?
Michigan.
That's Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So another road course with the Indianapolis Road Course. Oh, Mega, that just ruined it for you today. All right, perfect way to end the show. Mega's hands in his head, and I am gleaming in joy. So have a good Saturday night. Enjoy your Sunday, and take care.
Good luck, everyone.